this is the third and last game of the tournament, game 3, and I'm down with 2 losses. One which was average, a big loss second game, and I'm gonna play against Necron on the third one. So I'm playing a Wraith list with a Tesseract Vault, which is gonna be interesting. That's a big Lord of War. Big unit, lots of shooting, lots of nasty 48 inches psychic or pseudo-psychic powers from the Transcendent Stan inside there in the middle, and of course the Wraith star with their invul, their super speed, and they're going through terrain. So I'm not sure I want my Chaos Lord to go against the Wraith, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, my opponent's list is not too bad, but yeah, it's a bit more optimized, I think, than mine, but let's see how it goes. So in terms of deployment, I go first. So I put my warriors and Zendrek in the middle there, flanked by the Tombblades. Of course, we're playing the Relic with as well Emperor's Will, so we both have an objective on our side. Mine is on the right hand side of the table, and he's on the top left there in the ring on his table edge. I put the Morphine on the right there, try to cover my side. I'm thinking I don't really want the Morphine to go against the Wraith, but if I have to tap it, then I will. My plan is to be able to shoot at him, get his objective, or allow myself to get his objective, and then get to his spider. So if I get the Camtech spider, his Wraith won't get the reanimation protocol or the other boosts that can give it every turn. And yeah, so I pretty much deploy centrally with my 2 fast close combat unit on the sides there, and I put the flayed ones on 18 inches away from the ruin where it gets his objective, so that's the top left ruin there on screen. On this side, where he deploys centrally almost, he's got a Tesseract vaults there in the back, with the 2 meter warriors, 10 warriors he's got. And then he's got his Overlord, who is packing. Yeah, the 4 pinball. He's got the cause fear item or something like that. Yeah, he's got an item that causes fear, and he's inside the unit of 6 Wraith, Camtech Wraith, and the spider is on the left hand side, and on the right hand side he's got his 3 units of Scarabs and his 3 Tombblades. And here's a picture of my scouting flayed ones. A word as well, this is Callum. He's a young player at the club. He is playing this list for the first time, or one of the first time, so he's not very experienced. So bear with him when he's trying to get his bearing with his new units there. So I get turn 1, he doesn't see the initiative, so I move the Morphine all the way 12 inches behind there and cover. My plan is that the Morphine can go through, he's not slowed by cover, so we agreed at the start that these are ruins and we can go through them, and so my plan is to go through that and to get to his juicy units possible. I shoot the Tombblades, get the Relic, and then in the shooting phase the plan is for me to move the Relic back. Of course I can only move 6 inches in every single phase, so hopefully I'll be able to get it a whiff before he can get me with the either the Wraith or his shooting attacks. On the left hand side I dash my spawns with the Chaos Lord. My idea there is either to support the flayed ones that will go against his unit of Immortals who are sitting in the rings with his Emperor's Will's objective, or go back centrally and flank whatever is available. So he's got the unit of warrior, potentially a Camtech spider, and his Wraith with his warlord there, and they are supported by my 5 Immortals as well. My unit of warriors with Nemesis Zendrek move through cover and go into the ring, and my rightmost unit of warriors move up. My Heldrake and my 2 units of cultists are in reserve. And here's a closer look of the flayed ones moving slowly but surely towards a fight or confrontation with his Immortals. My spawn decide to run, and they run only a couple of inches unfortunately, but they do. And likewise with my my jet bikes only move 6 inches, but that's 6 inches enough for me to put the relic in the middle, so it is surrounded by the other 2 tomb blades, just in case he shoots me down. I run the monofin, and it runs closer to the ruin on the right there on the screen. Shooting doesn't go bad. My right mouse into warrior shoot at the Tesseract vault because it's in range and gets a glance through. So that's 1 down, 8 to go. And the immortals, which are in range of his immortals, successfully get a couple of wounds through, and one causes one of his mortal to leave the battlefield. My opponent's turn 1, he moves his unit forward, he dashes his Wraith in between the 2 units of his warriors, and then proceeds to shoot with everything. In the end, he kills a warrior from the right hand side and a warrior from the left hand side, as well as the 2 first Tomblade's model, including the one that had a relic, so that's not really good. And so we're going to turn 2, when my unit of cultists comes in, and the Heldrake comes in, and he comes on the right hand side of the table. My unit of Spawn and the Chaos Lord move diagonally towards the Canotech Wraith, who's been sitting in the back. What I didn't realize is it's towing the ruin there in his deployment zone, so it's -2 for charging, but we'll see that impact in the game later on. The Immortals move forward, and the Flayed one move and run into closer to the ruin because they're not in range for charges, or they were not in range for charge this turn. In the center there, I move a unit of cultists forward, try to use them to screen potential charge from the Wraith on his turn 2. I move my warriors back, and I move my Lich Guards forward to provide additional support and to buff everything. The remaining Tombblades move a couple of inches, grabs the relic, and then in the shooting phase moves away from the battlefield. So on the right hand side, the Heldrake moved up and torrent flamed the unit of Tombblades, killing 2. 1 survived thanks to reanimation protocols. I will take care of the swarms a bit later, but the Tombblades are the one threat on my right flank. The Monofin there in picture moved through the cover and is preparing a charge onto the Tesseract vault. He just can squeeze. I moved in just close enough so I can squeeze in between the wall of the ruin, his unit of warriors, and get into the Tesseract vault. I was considering doing multiple charge, but Overwatch wouldn't be very nice for me. I forgot to mention, I believe in shooting I did cause a couple of more glances onto the Tesseract vault, which is kind of cool. On the right hand side, you can see there I'm preparing a charge onto the Canotech Wraith. It's going to be a long one, 7 inches, but it turns out to be more like a 9 because he's towing the ruin. So I get the -2, unfortunately, to my charge move. Unfortunately, they do not make it, and yeah, here's a perspective from the warriors, the immortals from my opponent, expecting a potential charge and assault from the Flayed one next turn. And so at the end of combat, this is unfortunately a picture of my opponent's turn 2 there after movement, but my turn 2 combat, the Molofin get into the Tesseract vault, so he's got 4 attacks on the charge. He punches 4 times and only make 3 of the 4 hits, so I only get 1 extra magma cutter. I could have get 2, knowing that he's got 6 wounds left. I put 3 hull points down though, plus 1 extra from the magma cutter, so it's down to 1 hull point. And as you can see there in this picture at the start of his turn, he had to retreat with the Tesseract vault. He's got 48-inch range, so it shouldn't be an issue, but yeah, his Tesla sphere are only 24 inches, so yeah, that's not good news for him. Unfortunately, of course, you know, I don't think the Morphin is gonna see forward a long life in this battle, but let's see how it goes. So that's yeah, his movement on his turn 2, he moves the Tesseract vault back into the deployment. He darts the Scarabs and Tombblades towards the Heldrake, and his warrior, one of the units of warriors, surround the Morphin for a close-up rapid-fire volley. his unit of Wraith, followed by the Lord, dash forward through the ruin, and it's gonna set up for a charge. His spider stays behind, but the buff on the Wraith lasts until the start of his next turn. And here's a closer look of the conga line to keep the Lord in tow. It doesn't really matter, I just need to put his front guys, and then with the piling movement, etc., he should be able to get in and get all his attacks. On the right hand side, the Tomblade gets a hull point through, and the Tesseract bolt shots at the Helldrake, but does nothing. This is where I kill a few, well, of course, the warriors point blank with Molothin just destroys Molothin, and the other unit of warriors are out of range and can't do anything. They do shoot at the spawn, I apologize, but they don't do enough. They do provide, they move around the Cataplex spider, so I will have a hard time to get through and charge it on my turn. In the assault phase, his Wraith get into the rightmost unit of warriors, given that my warlord is shielded by a wall of Lich Guard, partially supported by a wall placed 1 inch away because of the ally of convenience rule, a wall of cultists. Here's a better picture of, I believe, yeah, one of his Tesla Sphere from the Tesseract Vault destroys one of my spawn, and the Immortals kill one of the flayed ones who are now very close into ruin with them and their objectives. Combat with the Wraith is a bit of a wash. He causes 2 wounds to me in total. Or Necron warriors are so tough, and I do nothing, but I lose by 2 and stick around, which is useful. One thing I forgot to mention, the Tomblade, which has the objective, is not engaged in combat at this stage, so it will be bold to go away on my turn. And so on my turn 3, I start to over the Helldrake and move it back 12 inches, so I get a nice shot on the Scarabs and the Tomblade. My warriors move toward the center, leaving the flayed one to deal with his Immortals. And sorry, I meant my Immortals, not my warriors. My Chaos Space Marine Lord and the Spawn move closer to the unit of warriors and the Spider. I decide to charge the Lich Guards inside the Tomblade, just after I position them as close as possible to his Lord, hoping to get some one allocated to the Lord, with the other spiders engaged with the warrior unit on the left. And I move the Tomblades away as much as possible. I move back the cultists in support in case the warriors fall. They will get into the fray, but at this stage I don't plan to, because I will lose the combat if I lose too many cultists. The unit of warriors with Zendrake move into cover there, trying to shoot at the spider, and they do nothing. The plan here was to use the Immortals to open the wall of warriors, so I could have a clear run and charge through the warriors into his spiders, but it did not happen. He passed his reanimation protocol, so I ended up charging my spawns and Chaos Lord into his warriors. Here's a dice on my shame. I made a mistake. The spawn roll the second mutation, so 2d6 attacks, but it's not 2d6 attacks, it's you roll 2d6 and you get the highest. So I cheated my opponent by 15 attacks on this. Long story short, just the warlord caused 4 wounds, and the rest of the spawns caused about 8 more. In total, he lost by, I believe, 3 or 4 and rolled an 11 on his mortal check. So the warriors were routed, and of course my lord was initiative 5, was very easily catching them. So the unit of warriors were depleted, but I didn't play my spawn correctly, and I apologize afterwards to my opponent. Here's the better picture of the wipeout. And on that side, the combat with the flayed one, which of course I charged into the Immortals. I've been able to kill 2 of the flayed ones, and he killed 2 of his Immortals, and he killed 1 of my flayed one in return, but he passed his moral check and still around. The Helldrake, I forgot to do that take a picture of the shooting phase. Of course, use the Bell Flamer template, kill all the scarabs instantaneously because they're too far away from the spider to benefit from their reanimation protocol. And unfortunately, he's gonna take his Stormblade past its reanimation protocol, so it's gonna be a bit of a bother when he's next to. And in this picture, you can see the Stormblade dragging Relic inexorably away from his unit toward the bottom left of the table. This turn of combat with his counter Wraith, I lose a couple more warriors, but stick around. My Lich Guard do a lot of wounds. I do kill, I think, one with the Wraith, or put a couple of wounds on his Overlord, but that's about it. I lose, but I stick around. I only lost by 1 or 2 on this one. In his turn, of course, he moves his spider as close as possible from his Wraith to be able to buff them at the end of the movement phase. His second unit of warriors get a bit closer away from, well, towards my spawns really, but they're not fast enough. Even with his move through cover, he didn't get far enough to block them from charging the spider if I choose to do so next turn. Here's a better picture from his side of the table, with a Tesseract bolt and a Stormblade contemplating headbutt into my Heldrake. In his shooting phase, he gets the power he wanted, the power 2 I believe, from the Transcendent Satan, which is an apocalyptic blast, and he places it on my Warlord units, or Nemesis Hendrix unit, and they are in cover unfortunately, so that does not ignore cover. He shoots, he gets all the units covered in there, and deviate a bit, so that's not the final deviation there. He did not hit any of my Lich Guard, fortunately, but unfortunately, because it's in cover and because I have reanimation protocols, he only kills a few of my warriors, I believe 3 in total, which is amazing for an apocalyptic blast like this. I'm not gonna complain. Necrons are tough, and that's why I took them on this list. Then his Tesla Sphere shot at my spawn and killed, I believe, 2 of them. Or killed 2 of them. So one is wounded, and I have my Chaos Lord left, but that's about it. And I was helped by shooting from his warriors as well, which are in a ring there next to the Mall of Indy. In combat, I believe I do kill 1 more of his immortals, and my fed ones stay around. His immortal stick around, I believe, on his turn still. And in combat, it's another wash. He kills, I believe, 1 more of my warriors. I pass most of my reanimation protocols. My Lich Guards go and do a number on his units. I cause a couple of wounds on its Wraith, but not enough to kill a model, unfortunately. In my turn, I do move my Heldrake towards the warrior, killing a lot, and going back into zooming mode, of course, so he will have to snapshot at me this turn. One of my spawn move closer to the spider or his lord, and I move my Chaos Lord towards the Tesseract Bolt. He has a power fist, so I'm hopeful. I need 6s to cause a glance, but you never know. And there's a closer look of my Chaos Lord contemplating taking on a Tesseract Bolt by himself, or the remaining hull point of a Tesseract Bolt by himself. Shooting the Heldrake caused a few wounds on the warriors, but not enough for them to rout. My spawn charges the spider, and my Chaos Lord successfully charges the Tesseract Bolt. And straight into the interesting bit. This is the damage dice on my Chaos Lord. I did 5 hits, which I never do get all my hits in, but I did. And then I did 1 6, 1 5, but it doesn't matter. I just did 1 6. So the Chaos Lord by himself took down the last remaining hull point of the Tesseract Vault, and that was pretty epic. Several guys came around to see the nasty Tesseract Vault being destroyed after he did a number on them on previous games. Yeah, Callum in hindsight was not impressed with his Tesseract Vault, but I guess what they don't like it's all that ghost fighting and the Molothin doing a number on him as well. So that was very unfortunate, but I'm not going to complain. It was pretty epic and I felt good about it. And so we go into the catastrophic blast, unfortunately for Cannon, because he placed his vault so close to the table's edge. When the blast deviates, the center goes off the table, and that means that the blast is no more. The combat between his spider and my chaos pawn is a bit of a wash. Nothing happens, and stick. The combat with the Wraith there, he killed 2 more of my warriors and one of my Lich Guard, and my Lich Guards do a couple of more wounds. I believe we take care of 1 more Wraith, and 1 is on 1 wound there. My cultists go around, try to support the right objective, and the second unit of cultists. As my opponent's turn 4, he at this stage doesn't really relish the chances of winning that game on his side, given that a unit of warriors and some Lich Guards targeted his big Wraith star with his overload for so many turns. That's a bit crazy. I guess that's how tough and resilient warriors are. I mean, you saw in game 1, a unit of 5 warriors just held up about 11 demonettes of Slaanesh with raining attacks. That was pretty awesome. On game 2, 3 immortals just held up a Dread Knight, and there we get it was 7 warriors or 6 warriors to start with 5 immortals holding up a full Wraith pack, so that's pretty epic. On the right hand side there, Lone Tombblade is trying to shoot down a couple of cultists, not enough to cause a more check, and charges. That's a picture of the shot. I didn't get a picture of it, but in the last combat phase, the remaining spawn who has a wound on it just get lucky, roll the poison attacks and get a number on the spider, and the spider is normal. It then move consolidated forward towards the unit of Wraith, which then in my turn, this turn there, turn 5, I charged and get into combat. The Lord unfortunately was too far and didn't make the charge. I also moved Zendrek into the combat, giving him this turn the special, what did I give him? I believe I gave him Feel No Pain, something like that. So he was a bit stronger in combat. I declared a challenge, which he accepted with his Overlord. Combat with the Overlord was a bit of a wash, so we get into this combat, and unfortunately, yeah, his Stormblade survives the Overwatch. He kills 1 of my guy. I don't cause any wound. I wound on 6s, but I didn't get lucky on this one, unfortunately. And I lose by 1, and I rolled a 7, and I need a 6. And my guys run away, and they run away just enough. So, well, they run away so they cannot contest or control anything, unfortunately. And so I lose that objective, which is a bit of a shame. So if I had moved the other unit of cultists a bit further and succeeded the charge, Gale just under the tree there, you could see is the first maneuver. He had the 9-inch charge to make it, but it was a bit far-fetched. So I should have provided these guys with more support, or keep the Helldrake to finish the job on the Tombblade, sorry. And that's the last shot of the game, last shot of the tournament. The warriors and the immortals just shoot at each other, and my immortals are a bit more resilient, and they kill a few of the warriors, which is good, but incidentally not impacting the final result. My failed one finished his immortals, and I hold his objective in his deployment zone, and his Stormblade successfully killed a full unit, or routed a full unit of cultists, and holds my objective, which is a bit of a shame. But there you go. I win this game. I believe it was 9-7, so it's short win, something like that, 9-7 I believe. But it was a good game. It was the first time I played against a Tesseract Vault. I was considering buying one, but I'm happy I haven't. I'm happy to play with the models I've got. I've got plenty of standard Necron units, and I think they're very powerful. I'm gonna try the Destroyer Cult because I think it's a cool idea. And I like the Jetpack unit, and the fact that they have 2 wounds and they're pretty shooty and plenty of ghosts. Who doesn't like ghosts? Very resilient, and they have radiation protocols as well. So yeah, there you go. Hope you enjoy.